Welcome to Hope in the Face of Cancer, where we share real stories of courageous people in their cancer journey. Today, we are visiting with Rita, a breast cancer survivor with an incredible heart for service, and Marcella, a program manager with Canopy, a cancer survivorship center at Memorial Hermann The Woodlands, a longtime friend of CanCare. When most people think about cancer survivorship, they think about the time after they ring the bell. But cancer survivorship doesn't begin when treatment ends. The definition of a cancer survivor is anyone who has ever been diagnosed with cancer, no matter where they are in the disease. It's about living with, through, and beyond a cancer diagnosis. And survivorship centers like Canopy are designed to provide hope, healing, and empowerment through the cancer journey. Healthcare partnerships are a vital part of CanCare's mission. We are part of the cancer care team for our healthcare partners, serving the emotional support needs of our cancer community. Teaming up with dedicated healthcare providers like Memorial Hermann ensures that patients receive comprehensive care and unwavering support throughout their treatment journey. These collaborations allow us to bridge the gap between medical treatment and emotional care, offering patients a complete support system. Now let's meet Rita and Marcella and hear their story. Oh, ladies, we are so happy to have you on our podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for.
It's a pleasure. And Rita, you are so colorful today. I know those that are only listening cannot see your beautiful blouse, but you are just a colorful ray of sunshine today.
Thank you. I love colors.
That's awesome. Well, I was so inspired, Rita, by reading your recent story in Hello Woodlands magazine. It was so uplifting and inspirational. Let's start with your diagnosis. So tell us how you originally learned that you had cancer and kind of what did you do upon knowing that?
Well, what started out, I was at a massage session and I was lying face down. And I noticed that I felt a sharp pain on my right breast. And I just thought because maybe she was doing a deep massage that, And so I didn't think anything of it. And the next day at work, I was at my computer, I was typing and all of a sudden I had this sharp pain there and to where, it jilted me.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, what is that? And I kept on, and then it was sporadic. And then I just decided I immediately called my OB-GYN. Yeah. I was scheduled for my annual mammogram for the following month. This was August. So I was scheduled for, mid-September. But I told them, I said, I need to go in. I have a sharp pain. I need to go as soon as I can. So I went in. The doctor went ahead and scheduled a diagnostic mammogram. So I had that within that same week. And when I went in, you go in and then you're waiting. And they came out and they said, we need to do an ultrasound. But we're waiting on your doctor to give the okay. I said, okay. So we went in. Now, at that point, I didn't think anything of it because a couple of years before I had some calcification on the other breast. So I just thought, okay, maybe that's it.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing. Of course, I didn't have pain like I did before. So they did that, and then they came back and they said, we need to go ahead and do a biopsy. And I said, okay. So still then, they did that the last time too. So I just thought, well, okay. So that was like toward the end of August. And the day after Labor Day, I was at the office and I get a phone call from the provider there and the mammogram provider, and answered the phone. They said, this is the nurse navigator. They said, are you driving? Right then I knew.
Yeah.
Not good news, And I said, no. I said, well, let me close the door to my office. So then she told me I had been diagnosed with a stage 2 triple negative. And so she was giving me, all these terms and all that. Needless to say, I was in shock. I was numb.
Sure.
I was listening, but I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I said, do you mind if you call my sister? My sister's a was a science teacher. I call her the scientist. You know, she knows questions to ask. So I said, can you call her? She goes, no. She said, but we can do a conference call. So she said, find out when she's available. Let me know. We'll set it up. And so I didn't call her. I texted her. I just said, found out I have cancer. Are you available to talk to the nurse? We can do a conference call. So she sent me back, we'll do it at 10:30. So we set it up for 10:30. And she asked some real good questions. I was taking notes also, but I just felt better that she would understand a little bit more than I would. So we made an appointment. Well, she asked me, you know, where I wanted to go. She gave me options, and I asked her if she could give me somewhere near Spring. Now, mind you, my OB-GYN is in Clear Lake. I was working in Midtown, so she didn't know where to refer me. So I told her I'd like to have somewhere to go. So, you know, and it was great because immediately right into action, you know, set up appointments and all that stuff. Now, I guess there was a little rainbow to that diagnosis because on that same week, I had planned a trip with a bunch of girlfriends. We're going to do a sports weekend. We went to go see the Astros play at Fenway on a Friday. And on that Sunday, the Texans were playing the Patriots. So
that's awesome.
So that kind of helped me, you know, not think about it. Of course, when I came back, then, you know, I had to deal with it. But it was, you know, that was the start of an interesting journey for me.
In that journey, at what point were you introduced to Canopy?
I was actually at the beginning of that journey. I met with the oncologist and then the oncology surgeon, Dr. Diana Hook. So she was talking to me about she would really meet with me later after all my chemotherapy treatments. But then she gave me a little flyer or a little pamphlet that explained about Canopy. So my sister was there with me. And so we were looking at it and she said, you know, it's nearby because I was over in the Memorial Complex. So we decided to go. I told my sister, we're here, let's go check it out. So we went by and I mean, it was really awesome because coming in, everybody was just so friendly. It was such a warm, welcoming atmosphere. So they gave me like a nice little goodie bag. They gave me a tour and they told me about all the different services that they offered and that it was free. And so I thought, you know, this is a place that I'd like to come back to. So, you know, I got on their schedule. I got their schedule. And I did attend a few classes. The most favorite one, of course, was food. There was
of course, it would be all.
Italian chef Paola, and she was just really awesome. She had monthly classes. She taught how she was making it. You know, we just learned about it, but she gave us some good recipes and all. So that started.
That's fantastic. Okay. And so Marcella, you are the program manager for Canopy. So tell our listeners, what is Canopy? What exactly do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a cancer survivorship center, and we're located in the Woodlands, Texas, although we service the greater Houston area. And honestly, because we have some of the best cancer centers in the nation, we'll have visitors from all over.
Yeah.
So we're actually pretty unique in the nation in providing the service that we do, and that we are a center that offers over 45 unique programs and services to anyone impacted by any type of cancer, no matter where they're treated. So while we're out of the Memorial Hermann healthcare system, we open our doors to everyone in need.
It's wonderful.
Insurance, they could be insured, underinsured, uninsured. We don't ask those questions. And if we do, it's so that we can hook them up with resources to help them on the journey.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, to have that level of support during the cancer journey is such a blessing. Rita, I was really struck in reading the article about you recently, one, by your positivity. I mean, you're just a light. But I read about a particular party that you threw when you were preparing for your mastectomy. So tell us about that.
Well, I have a group of high school friends that we gather at least twice a year. I mean, mind you, we were all graduated in '68, so it's been a long time. But we had tried to get together in November, and that was like the one weekend that I really didn't feel well at all. Yeah, I mean, that was my one. I was fortunate that was the only one time that I really, really did not feel well. So I had to reschedule. So I rescheduled them in February. And then I thought, I'm going to have a bye bye boobies party. So I got a cake ordered at Randall's, and I asked of course, I go there and there's this gentleman there, and I said, he said, what would you like on the cake? I said, how about can you put bye bye boobies? And he looked at me, no expression whatsoever. He wrote it down, and I said, can you put like a pink breast cancer ribbon? He said, sure, what do you want to pick it up in? And he looked at me and he said, my mother had breast cancer.
Oh.
And he said, so I wish you well. And oh man, that just kind of like, oh wow,
Wow.
But my girlfriends loved it. Two of them are cake lovers, so they really loved it. They didn't care what it said on it. But yeah,
that's incredible.
That was my last go around with these girls and give them a good send off.
Oh, I love it. I loved how you just embraced what was happening, and said, you know what, let's turn this into a celebration and just fellowship with people you love. I love that. So you eventually went from being a Canopy client to being a Canopy volunteer. So tell us a little bit about that decision for you to kind of come back and serve.
Well, I really enjoyed going to Canopy. I felt so good. And I had met this one woman there once at one of the classes, and then I saw her that she was volunteering, and I asked her, how do you volunteer here? And I said, I think I'd be interested in volunteering. And she said, oh, let me get your name and I'll give it to Kate. And I said, okay. And then shortly after that, it was maybe a couple of weeks, I received a phone call and said, I understand you would like to volunteer. So I said, yes, definitely. So I started volunteering at the front desk and, learned the ropes. And I just really enjoyed it, greeting our visitors. I wanted to give back what was given to me.
Yeah.
And so, since then I've been working with another as a co-volunteer coordinator, and also have a Look Good, Feel Better program that I'm the Canopy coordinator. I work with the Look Good, Feel Better people. So, it's like whatever I can do to help, I'm going to do to help.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I can imagine that you have some incredible memories and just moments that have really been impactful to you as a volunteer there. Any particular experience really come to your mind that was so special for you?
There was, and not too long ago, a woman walked in, excuse me, she walked in, very petite, and the look on her face, you could see fear, and her eyes were all glossy and all. And I asked her, can I help you? And she said, she had the little pamphlet in her hand. She says, well, my husband just got diagnosed with cancer, and they told me about this place. I wanted to come see. And so I said, sure. I said, can I give you a tour? So I gave her a tour, and she, was a little calm. And then I was giving her information, a folder, and information for her husband. I was telling her about the men's lunch. It'd be great because he can meet other men that are survivors or going through treatment and all that. And you could see her calm down, and she was saying, oh, this is good. I said, and I told her, even if, he's having a treatment, you want to come relax, just sit, have coffee, a snack or something, you're here. So when she left, she said, oh, well, I'm glad I came. And so I told her, I was like, can I give you a hug?
Wow.
I knew she needed it. I knew she needed it. So I hugged her, and she just hugged me back. She said, thank you so much. And that really stands out because I
Yeah.
know I've been on the other side.
Yeah,
And, you know,
absolutely. Marcella, I can only imagine seeing so many people come through Canopy each and every day, how impactful your job is every day and just what you experience. Any particular moment or memory, strike you as kind of being, this is why I do what I do?
Yeah, so we average between 800 and 1,000 guest encounters a month. And we have 56
Wow.
amazing volunteers, one of which you're meeting, Rita, and each of them have been touched by cancer in some way. So I think it's really important for newly diagnosed patients, those have been survivors or in remission post-treatment, to be able to walk through our doors and feel that sense of community from those that truly understand. And the way my office is positioned is actually right behind the front desk. So I can kind of hear what goes on as I'm back here engaging in the community. And there was this one Friday, it was coffee and support. We had a newly diagnosed patient come in, and she was actually visiting with one of our tenured guests who's been coming here for quite some time, a stage 4 cancer survivor. And when you walk into Canopy, it looks like a home. So while we're located on the Memorial Hermann campus in a medical plaza, so we're in Medical Plaza 1, it really looks like you're walking into a living room. We have a kitchen. We have this grand counseling room that looks like your auntie's living space. And I overheard the guest talking to our tenured survivor who happened to be here for coffee and support. And she said, what she was trying to explain to her to kind of let her guard down. And the hardest part's really walking through our doors here. And she said, when I walk into Canopy, I can finally breathe.
What a compliment.
I stopped exactly, what I was doing at that moment, because it was just so impactful to hear from survivor to survivor, different stages, different levels of their cancer journey. And just to make a statement that bold, I think was really, really powerful. And we'll have stories like that daily here. And just last week, we had a woman come in for a wig fitting, and she had purple hair.
Wow.
And so, she had purple hair, and she was really upset about losing her purple hair. And we do wig and prosthesis fitting here as one of our programs, and they're free. But looking at our wig closet, we have a closet, and it's filled from top to bottom with wigs, but they're your more typical type colors, your grays, your blondes, your reds, your browns. And so it was, you could tell it was a little disappointing for her. Well, we had our Friday volunteer because, and this was a Tuesday. So we had our Friday volunteer happen to be here on a Tuesday. And she overheard this woman talking about, the sadness of losing part of her identity, and not just hair in itself, but the unique color that it was. And she said, you know what? I think we have a wig that's been in there for maybe 4 years, tucked in the back under a bin that nobody really goes into because it's our multicolor wig, but it's hidden by other kinds of. So had this volunteer from Friday not been here on a Tuesday, nobody would have ever known that this beautiful purple wig existed.
Wow.
And so we had our cosmetologist here who does head shavings for us. So she was able to trim up the wig and make it so beautiful and beautifully fit this woman. And she came in the next day and she said, my family loved it. This is me. This is who I am. And it was so perfect. So it's little nuggets like that keep all of us going here.
Absolutely. Well, and I think the cancer experience is so much more than the treatment experience. It's helping people through the emotional things, and you never know what's going to strike those emotions. And for her, it was her identity through her hair. And you guys were such a blessing to her through that experience. What a great story.
Thank you.
I would imagine.
Yes, too.
Absolutely. I would imagine that you, Marcella, have learned a lot about the cancer journey yourself, just witnessing the support that you provide. So tell us what you feel like you've most learned about the cancer journey in your time and your role.
I think one of the biggest things we say is you can have the best support system at home, or a non-existent support system. But to meet with a community, a group that completely understands what you're going through, or who has been there, who's been a caregiver, during that time, I think is essential, because, if you have the best support system at home, you may be guarding some of your feelings, true feelings, right? Because you want to protect your loved ones. So, I think it's embracing the community that's available to you. CanCare has a survivor by your side, utilizing those resources that are available, because I think oftentimes we have survivors come in and say, well, I have my wonderful spouse, or I have my wonderful adult daughter, or parents, that take great care of me. And that's wonderful. And that's an added layer to that. But there's also a community that can help you navigate some of the questions that maybe your loved ones can't.
And someone who truly understands and can relate to what you're going through, like maybe no one in your family quite can.
Exactly.
So Rita, you just evoke such positivity. And I would imagine you were just an incredibly positive person even before your cancer diagnosis. But staying positive through the cancer journey is a hard thing to accomplish. So what would you say to those who may be listening today, who are facing, maybe they just heard those words, you have cancer, and they're facing a new diagnosis? What would you say to them?
I would say be transparent with all your friends and family, because you're going to need that emotional support. I've known some people that say, well, I don't want anybody to know. But it's like, of course, I let everybody at work know. I was taking a 6-month leave of absence, and that I had, cancer. My friends, my family, especially my faith. My faith in God. God was with me through this whole deep ordeal. But, also, I remember going to my infusions, and the oncology nurse there, she was always so cheerful. You're going through this, and she just made it sound not fun. But when she'd spray me to put the infusion in my port, she'd say, it's going to be cold, it's going to be, she made a fun out of it. And also, I'm a very big Astros fan, so she knew it. I wear my Astro shirts, and also we talk about sports. But you have to go in with a positive attitude, and take each day at a time. I have to read this quote that I received. Each day comes bearing its own gifts. Untie the ribbons. So you have to look at each day differently. Yes, maybe today was a rough day, but tomorrow I know it's going to be better. Just mind over matter. And I take it in day by day.
I think about, your cooking classes, and I think about, all the ingredients that it takes in a recipe to make something great. And in the cancer journey, I think those ingredients are, obviously great medical care, but that support, the positive attitude, all of those other components to the recipe, so that you can truly have a great outcome. How would you say your perspective on life has changed after going through breast cancer?
After that, it's like I'm living La Vida Loca,
I love it.
It's like live each day to the fullest. I'm taking these different craft classes. I'm doing a lot of stuff, and I did retire back in 2020. So I just said, there's all these little things I wanted to try doing, and I'm going to do it. And coming to Canopy, it's real. I do attend. I volunteer. I'm very involved. I do the prosthesis and wig fittings, but I also attend various classes. And there's a sisterhood that I never asked to be in. But we're a community, we're a family. And you come here, you talk to other people, and you hear about their aches and pains or whatever. It's like we're all of the same golden age group here, but it's really fun. We have a lot of fun. You develop a good friendship. So, life after cancer, as a survivor, you've got support as well.
Yeah,
You've
absolutely.
got it during, and it continues because you need that support to keep going on.
Yes, agreed. Marcella, CanCare and Memorial Hermann have been partners for a really long time. And, sometimes, you hear the phrase, it takes a village, I feel like we're so happy to be a part of your village. What do you see as the role of an organization like CanCare, maybe some of your other partners, and kind of coming around the cancer patients to provide them support in this journey?
Yeah, we absolutely do not do this alone. It takes so many other partnerships to be able to give back in the way that we do, to embrace our survivors. And survivorship, as you know, starts day one of diagnosis,
Yes.
for the rest of their life. But we really feel it's important. So whenever we have a newly diagnosed patient, for instance, walk in, we're able to provide them with the gentle exercise, the nutrition. We have a community of volunteers, but I think with CanCare, just y'all have such a large scope of individuals that are diagnosed with various cancers here. And for us, that would be impossible, right? To match exactly the type of cancer with either a caregiver or a survivor. So we definitely depend on CanCare to be that bridge, right? So we offer the in-person support here. We have some virtual offerings as well, but we say it's really important for you to have that relationship with one person who can help share their journey with you. So while we have the support groups that they can attend, they have this one constant that I think is really helpful.
Yeah. And there's just so many different ways that, we can all collectively come around our cancer community and love them and support them in their journey. Rita, I'm curious, we ask oftentimes to our survivors what the gift of cancer was in their life. And sometimes at first they say, what gift, but after they ruminate and think about it, I think some people would think, when contemplating the question of the gift of cancer, at first, there are no gifts of cancer, but as they ruminate on it, they see that cancer has given them something. Cancer has left an impact on them in some way. What would that gift be for you?
My gift is ability to help others go through this. Gift of listening, gift of just being there for somebody that needs something, and maybe not necessarily cancer, but also anybody that needs something just to talk to.
Yeah.
It's because of my journey, I've had people approach me, because I even put it on Facebook, asking for prayers. I was on so many prayer lists, but because it's someone just on Facebook approached me because they were going to have a biopsy. They were scared, and so I talked them through it. And then I've had other people come to me asking me for guidance and advice. So that's my gift, to share my story.
Yeah.
And to give
It's
hope.
almost like, in your post-retirement phase of life, you have this whole new purpose.
Yes.
You are this light, and you've gone through this journey. And had you not gone through that journey, you wouldn't have been able to serve people in the way that you're serving them today. And
Exactly.
you've been a blessing magnified, to so many people. So we're so grateful for the light that you are in our world. Marcella, what advice would you give to our listeners who may have been newly diagnosed with cancer?
Definitely be aware of your screenings, right? So go attend your annual appointments, get your mammograms, get your prostate exams. I think early detection is key. So that's really also another side of survivorship that we're really wanting to showcase is prevention, right?
That's right.
And also just the understanding that, we're very fortunate to have such a diverse community here. I mean, from professions, from ethnicities, all of those things, socioeconomic statuses, but we'll have psychologists, educators, nurses, CEOs and executives that are a part of our team here, because cancer doesn't discriminate, and
That's
I
right.
think that once you think this could never happen to me and it happens to you, you almost have that drive to help spread the word, to say, hey, you know what, this could happen to any one of us, and we're here to support each other.
That's right. And it's such a blessing to know that there's incredible resources like Canopy and other survivorship centers just around the country. For those that are listening, I think this conversation has been an introduction for many, to the existence of survivorship centers, and really encouraging people to seek out those kinds of resources that are in their community, or seek out resources like CanCare that provide one-on-one support to anyone across the nation. But we're so fortunate to have, resources out there that surround the whole person, in their cancer journey, which is such a blessing. So Rita, as we close today, any particular thoughts that you would like to share with our listeners as we're wrapping up our conversation today? Any final message?
Just listen to your body. I'm more in tune with my body after the cancer diagnosis. And it's like, I'm sure my doctors, well, I feel this, well, I feel that. But, you have to, just listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, take action. And that's what happened to me. I could have just let that go by thinking, it's nothing, and mine was a very aggressive form of cancer as well. So had I not, outcome would have been different for me, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, I think in that similar vein, it's about being your own advocate. It's speaking up and saying, I think something's wrong here. Let's take a look at this, and being your own advocate. And I think that can be frightening sometimes. Someone trying to navigate that healthcare arena. But, being able to speak up for yourself and champion yourself, I think is critically important. Well, ladies, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and there are just so many resources available.
Yeah.
Take advantage of what's offered. CanCare is there.
Right.
Canopy is there. You're not alone. You're not alone in the journey. There are others there that are willing to be there for you and with you, and take advantage of that.
And survivorship centers like the Canopy can really help you navigate all those resources too, because I think even having so many resources could be overwhelming. Marcella, what do you think, about that?
No, absolutely. And we actually have an on-site oncology nurse navigator and a licensed clinical social work counselor. So we'll provide counseling, and we really try to wrap around services to the family as a whole.
Right.
So we partner with, for instance, Wonders and Worries. So they provide support for children and teens of parents with cancer, and they have sessions here at Canopy.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely say we have something for everyone. I know if you go online and look at our calendar, it may look a little overwhelming, but we have so many things because cancer is different for everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we still try to keep all of our groups pretty intimate in size, because we want you to sign up for things that apply to you, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Well, ladies, what an inspirational time. I know our listeners have really enjoyed hearing your testimony and hopefully an introduction to, this idea of the Survivorship Center and what a resource it can be for our cancer community. So I just want to thank you today for giving hope in the face of cancer to our listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for the partnership with Canopy
absolutely.
and CanCare. It's just absolutely wonderful. So thank you.
It's our blessing for sure.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Hope in the Face of Cancer, a survivor by your side. If you or someone you know is facing cancer or is supporting a loved one through their journey, we invite you to share this podcast. Thank you for your support in our efforts in the cancer community. No one should face cancer alone.